March is here. Let the madness begin. SoCon Fast Break starts now. All right, Darren, here we are. It is March, but I would have to say Saturday in the SoCon felt like March, even though it was February, as we had some crazy games just in terms of the standings and what we thought might happen. There could have been a situation where we had 4 teams tied for second. There could have been a situation where we had 5 teams tied for third. There was all types of craziness going on, but now we know the bracket's set. And now everybody has a reset button, so to speak, getting ready for Asheville.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a late night for the folks in Spartanburg trying to get this
Just
figured
all the
out.
scenarios that could have played out.
It was nuts because there were, I mean, we're exaggerating here, but I mean, there were like 100 different scenarios that could have played out based on who won what games. And, you know, there were certainly a couple games that certainly the Wofford Citadel game did not go the way most people would have predicted that one to go, and so that it potentially was going to throw a wrench in things depending on how other people finished. It was certainly a wild Saturday in the Southern Conference, and it's going to make for a really fun weekend in Asheville because you've got 7 teams that are within 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, that could legitimately win. And that's what's crazy. And I think it was almost Saturday was a precursor of what we're potentially going to see in Asheville starting on Friday. So let's take a look at the teams and how they break down after 18 games of the regular season. ETSU, we already knew they clinched. So even in that game there against Mercer, it didn't really matter other than momentum for ETSU. That's back-to-back losses now for the regular season champs.
You don't want to go into a conference tournament like that, especially that's your response after you clinch the league is, granted, 2 of the better teams in the league.
That's right.
But that's the response that comes after you go secure your championship, your regular season championship. It's not what I would want to see, obviously, if I'm an ETSU fan going into Asheville. And look, they're still going to be competitive. They're still going to have as good a chance as anyone to win this thing, but not a real good way to go in. And then you even look at it without getting too much into the weeds is that, you know, yes, they lose that first game after clinching to Wofford, and you hope that maybe that's a wake-up call, but then they come out at Mercer and they're sleepwalking through the first half. I mean, that game was over basically by halftime.
Mercer dictated the tempo there throughout the first half and even somewhat into the second half. Yeah. And so kudos to Mercer being able to
do that. One for them.
And they only lost 1 game on their home court this season. Ryan Ritter has done a fantastic job there at Mercer. Absolutely phenomenal. As we look at the rest of the standings, Wofford 11-7, Samford and Mercer all tied at 11-7. But Wofford would win the tiebreaker there and ultimately get that second seed, the 3 seed Samford, 4 Mercer, Western Carolina.
Man.
Yes, here we go. 6 straight for the Catamounts.
I've been preaching it all year. Like,
double-figure scores.
When they get those dudes going, they are not a fun matchup.
Nobody saw a blowout.
No.
With the Furman Paladins heading up to Cullowhee.
No question. I mean, I'll fully admit, I picked Furman. You picked Western to win that game, so
but it was close.
Correct.
You remember we talked about it. I was looking for one little bit of information that would lean me the other way, and I couldn't necessarily find it, so I continued to go with the Catamounts there. So, watch out for Western Carolina as they're sitting there with the 5th seed. Furman with the 6th seed, UNCG at 7. They finished 9-9. Chattanooga and The Citadel both get wins this past weekend. And again, the win in overtime there in Spartanburg against Wofford. Citadel, they just do not give up.
No.
They continue to battle each and every game. And just, again, remember, they were winless in the conference last season. And to get 7 wins this year, that's a great job by the Citadel and obviously the coaching staff and Ed Conroy, the head coach.
It really is. And I saw them a couple times this year, and conveniently I kind of saw them early. I saw them middle-ish, and then I saw them late. And I know that they didn't finish up the way they wanted to finish their last, 6 or 7 games. But that team got progressively better.
The middle part of the season, they were much better. There's no doubt.
And so that's if I'm them, I find that really encouraging, right? Because I thought, it's a half, But I thought that first half that I saw them play against Furman this past week, I was impressed. Like, okay, these guys can compete.
They can.
Like, they can compete in this league.
Yeah, no question.
So that was really encouraging.
Yes, and then we know VMI finished 10th there in the conference, 1-17. Just a terrible season based on injuries.
Yeah.
Ricky Bradley Jr. did not play the entire season, the preseason player of the year. And I'm still trying to do some research behind this because I'm not familiar that this has ever happened before, where we saw, or how often it has happened, I should say, where we had a preseason player of the year not play one game the entire season.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just in the Southern Conference. I'm talking all of college basketball.
No, didn't step on the floor for a exhibition or a regular season basketball game this year. Just because the Southern Conference has been around so long, I'm gonna err on the side of somehow it's happened some way, shape, or form before. But it wouldn't shock me if we went all the way back and that has never happened, because it's just that's some bad luck. Because for whatever reason, those guys that are usually in that position that are getting that recognition, it's just, they usually have some sort of luck that they play that year. I don't know how to say it otherwise. Yeah. I mean,
it's a bizarre story.
Very, very bizarre.
It's still the story of the Southern Conference, in my opinion. And that's not taking anything away from ETSU being able to grab the regular season title for the first time since 2019, that 2019-20 season. Yeah. But you can't tell me, I mean, this is not the biggest story still in the Southern Conference.
Well, I mean, and to make things even more interesting is we never really got an answer as to what was going on. Like, it wasn't one of those, hey, he's got a torn ACL.
Yeah, and he's out.
He blew his knee out, or he's got a labrum issue that's going to keep him out for a long time, or there just was nothing that was kind of definitive about what he's been dealing with. And we're not here to play conspiracy theorists, but it's interesting that they were coy about it.
Yeah, very much so. And the innuendos were there was a hip issue apparently, and again, not enough information for us to make a determination exactly what happened. Obviously they know, but at the end of the day, Ricky Bradley Jr. didn't play, and that's why VMI only had one conference win this season. So we're going to do a much more, I guess, in-depth tournament preview and really go through all the bracket. But just to make sure everybody knows, Chattanooga and The Citadel will tip off there in the 8-9 seed on Friday. Then you also have in the nightcap UNCG and VMI, the 7 and 10. They will play, and then you have Wofford will play the winner of that. Samford and Furman play on Saturday. So rematch, Samford and Furman. Yeah. Furman won both games this season. And then ETSU will kick things off on Saturday as they await the winner of the Chattanooga Citadel matchup, Mercer and Western Carolina. Okay, that 4-5 matchup.
Man.
Watch out. Because Western Carolina's coming in here hot. They're hot.
So was it
and
7
Mercer can score.
Yeah,
6 in a row.
Mercer can absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's 6 in a row. You're right.
And that's without
7 and 3 in their last 10. But
and that's without Julian Tomorrow. Also, he didn't play again, which I thought he was going to play, but now I think they're really making sure that they get him back for the tournament and that he'll be 100%. So hopefully we'll get to see him in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so, because you want to see them at their best. You want to see them at full strength. But no, I mean, we mentioned it 5 minutes ago, but there are 6 teams that could. You tell me one of those 6 wins it, I'm not going to be that surprised.
Yeah, that's right. And again, so reminder to everybody out there, we will be doing a big-time tournament preview episode, probably multiple ones to break down all the games. Just hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and then also make sure you follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, including the iHeartRadio app. And we did talk about, we had a comment on YouTube. And I love it, because it was with the Jaden Booth episode. And so I've got to read the comment. And Brian, if you can pull this up so we can all see the comment here. Says, can Buddy on the right get some socks? Yes, and so he's referring to me, because I was on the right. If you're looking at the screen, you actually had full socks on today, on that day. But today, We're both not.
Right, we're both showing them. It's 70 degrees outside. That's right. Well, I mean, we got to let these ankles breathe.
It's no show. This is low socks. I had no show socks at the time.
Yeah.
But my response was, hey, those happen when we get 500 subscribers.
Yeah. So go follow.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. We'll bring the socks out when we get 500 subscribers. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It just helps us out. Because I would love to know, can we get to 500 subscribers before the end of the conference tournament?
Whew,
that's a lot.
I like it.
That's a lot.
I like it.
Yes, but I know there's a lot of faithful SoCon fans out there. See what you could do. Okay, what I did want to do also, though, now that we've got the standings as far as how the regular season finished out, let's just do a little bit of a rewind and look back at our floor and ceilings for these teams, just to get an idea how close we were. Okay, so ETSU, the number 1 seed. We had their ceiling as 3rd. That's as high as we thought that they would go, but we had their floor at 7. So obviously they blew past that ceiling, and that was because we didn't realize how quickly they were going to come together as a team. And Brooke Savage did a fantastic job bringing those guys together. And he also told me that several of those guys already knew each other prior, and that's some information we didn't know necessarily because they'd been on the AAU circuit, summer leagues, all of that, and so that helped tremendously.
Yeah, and that clearly mattered, and I do specifically remember when we were talking through the preview episode of ETSU, our biggest question mark was, look, they got like 10 or 11 new guys.
Yes.
And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't work. It definitely worked with this bunch. But I think, when you have that many new guys, there's always a bunch of question marks. And they did a great job of coming together, and they had as much depth as anybody in the league.
No doubt.
And, you can tell those guys have enjoyed playing with each other.
Yes, for certain. All right, Wofford, we had their ceiling at 6.
We're not off to a real good start here.
No, we're not.
Telling these listeners.
We had their floor at 10. They finished 2nd.
Yeah.
I mean, again.
Incredible.
One, Kevin Giltner did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Also give the prior staff some credit for bringing in some talent.
They did. They had some
and then also give the players credit that they gelled quickly and they embraced Kevin Giltner coming in as the head coach and really bought into his system, and they're good.
Yeah.
That's the big thing too, is that we know coaches can have an impact, but at the end of the day, you got to have players.
No, 100%.
And Wofford's got some players.
They do. And to your point, it takes all 3 of those things that you kind of just gave flowers to be able to do what they did.
Yeah.
And they found a way to do it. So every one of those, the coaches, players, they all deserve credit because that thing could have gone sideways quickly. And I mean, to your point, it's a really good backcourt.
It is.
It's a really good backcourt.
No doubt. All right, Samford, we had their ceiling 1st or 2nd, feeling that they could win the regular season title, and the floor would be 5th as they finished 3rd. And remember, they started 3-6 in the conference, and they got hot down the stretch. And it's easy to do when you've got Dylan Faulkner, the double-double machine. You've got the Norris brothers. And then, of course, you've got Jaden Buckets. That's all we need to say.
Mr. 40-piece?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he might make an appearance in my Player of the Week. Just a little bit of an appearance. All right, Mercer, as they finished 4th, we had their ceiling at 5th and their floor at 9th. And I felt that if Baraka Kojay, if he could return to his A10 form that we saw his freshman year, that Mercer could have a special season. And there's no doubt Baraka Kojay is in contention for Player of the Year in the Southern Conference.
Certainly. I mean, I think he's probably one of 2 or 3 guys at this point that gets the award.
No question.
And to your point, he was fabulous. Armani Mighty was another guy we talked about.
Yes.
Could he have a good year? He had a great year.
Yes.
And, similar to what went on with the folks up in Spartanburg, Coach Ritter did a fantastic job with this group too. I mean, you talk about a program that had really been struggling for a number of years, and in year 2, I mean, they have been very good for the most part, especially at home. As you mentioned, they only lost 1 home game all year. If they can figure out a way to get it done away from the crib, this is a really dangerous team.
Just get hot for 3 games now is what you want to be for Mercer. And there's several of these teams the same way. All right, and another one, Western Carolina. Finished 5th. We had their ceiling 5th. Okay, here we go. We're on the Catamounts train right now. And we had their floor as 8th. And I think a lot of this came down to what you've talked about several times, just not only their front court, but they do have the ability, they can get 4 guys in double figures. They are hard to beat. And that's what we've seen during their 6-game winning streak right now.
Yeah, and and they've gotten this from all different levels. They've gotten it from scoring the 3 ball really well. They're getting inside. They're rebounding really well. Yesterday 14 offensive rebounds to generate a ton of second chance opportunities. They got 10 more shots than Furman did yesterday. So we've talked about it all year. And certainly they're hot right now, but I just would not want to play these guys in Asheville when they got their offensive game going, because you get, we've talked about it before, but you get 4 or 5 guys in double figures. I don't necessarily care who you are.
Oh, exactly.
If you can get stops,
yes,
you're gonna be in position to win a lot of basketball games.
You're almost pushing your will against the defense.
Correct.
If you have 4 or 5 guys
Correct.
that are getting in double figures, and Western Carolina has been able to do that.
Yep. Because if you do, more likely than not, you're controlling the tempo.
Oh, yeah, exactly. All right, Furman at 6. Whew, okay, we're off here.
Yeah.
We had their ceiling first or their floor third, and did feel that it was going to be a question mark point guard play, and then would their perimeter shooting drop? If it did, we felt that their floor would drop to that third spot.
Yeah.
But this was a Furman team that was just inconsistent all year long. Doesn't mean they're still not one of the teams that can go win this tournament at all. Again, they're finishing 6th at 10-8, but again, the separation is minute.
Right. I mean, I think if they won against Western Carolina, they'd have been the 3 seed.
Yes.
So, 1 through 6 here. You know what? We got to give ETSU their flowers. I know. Overall, you can maybe just say separate them, but 2 through 7 were yesterday away from being 7 to being 3 to 4. So to your point, 2 through 7 is so bunched together, especially obviously 2 through 6 of only having to play 3 games in 3 days. But yeah, they certainly were probably a little bit more inconsistent than we anticipated. They did deal with some injuries, but they have gotten back to full strength and have still not been able to string a couple games together where you feel like they're getting into a really good rhythm. But I really like this roster on paper, and I really think that they have the pieces that if they play well, they're as scary as anybody.
There's
going
no
into
doubt.
Asheville.
Yes, but as we know, paper don't play.
No, paper don't play.
Players play.
Yeah.
And I do like their roster also, and we'll see if they can get hot for 3 games. UNCG finishing at 9-9, 7th in the conference. We had their ceiling at 3rd and their floor at 6th. So not too far off their floor, and it all came down to just defense.
Yeah.
This was not a defensive team like we've seen from Mike Jones, especially out on the perimeter. And that's a big drop-off for Mike Jones just in terms of the defense that he's typically had. But also now you look at UNCG heading into the tournament, Justin Neely with an injury, and he was on crutches there at the Samford game, only played 12 minutes in that first half, and KJ Younger's banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's almost like right now UNCG's limping into Asheville, and we've already known historically they have struggled in Asheville, even when they've been one of the better teams. So this is not a good situation if you're the Spartan fans.
No, it's not. And to your point, you look at their defense from the perimeter in particular all year. I mean, Jaden Booth goes for 40 yesterday.
But that's why I felt that Samford would win that game, because even watching that game against Chattanooga just couldn't make the shots.
Yeah.
And because they were open.
They were generating good looks.
They were definitely getting good looks, and Samford was getting good looks. But also, there were times, though, Jaden Booth was covered. And he had a hand in his face, and it didn't matter.
When you go for 40, you're feeling pretty good. You get that ball in your hands, and you can square those shoulders to the rim at any point.
It didn't matter where his liftoff was. All right, Chattanooga. Whew, okay. We were way off.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that were way off.
As was everybody else in the country on this.
Exactly.
One. So
Chattanooga finished 7-11. We had their ceiling first. I mean, they were the team to beat preseason, and their floor second. And I felt that injuries played a big part of this, but also as good as Jordan Frison has been, there just hasn't been multiple guys to take over for Chattanooga.
No, they just have not consistently had the firepower.
No.
And in the front court, the lack of front court depth and production really did hurt them because, to your point, they didn't necessarily have multiple guys that were as dynamic on the perimeter outside of Friesen than they've had in previous years. And then when you don't get that production from the front court, you can really load your defense up to those perimeter players, and it just made their lives harder. And they also, I think, guys that they were probably expecting to get more out of were wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, no question. All right, the Citadel, they finished 9th. We had their ceiling at 8 and their floor at 10th. So we'll split the difference here.
Hey, yeah.
We were very close with the Citadel here.
Same record as Chat, just lost the tiebreaker, so they could have finished 7th. You know?
Yes, could have finished 8th.
I'm sorry, 8th, yes.
And then VMI, we know they were 10th. We had their ceiling at 3rd or 4th and the floor at 7th.
Major caveat here.
We've already talked about it, yes. And I'm worried that based on our team preview, we were talking about VMI in terms of how far they could fall. And I didn't expect them to fall that far unless they had a situation where like Ricky Bradley didn't play.
And you brought that up. You made that point.
Exactly. And that was a huge factor into this situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to predict because there's so many variables that are going into some of these teams. We don't know, a lot of the players, how quickly they can gel, all of that. But at the end of the day, I mean, we are seeing parity in this league.
Oh yeah, I mean, this has been as much parity as I've seen in this league for several years.
Yes.
I'd want to go back. I'm very curious to see the last team that won the regular season championship with 5 losses.
Oh, yeah. And you did talk about this. You felt that this could be a season where the league champion could have 5 losses on their record.
Yeah. I saw a lot of teams kind of bunched together. I mean, we both did. We was kind of a theme of when we were talking about during the preview episodes.
That's right.
We just think there's a lot of teams that are kind of bunched together here, and there's going to be little margin for error, and that was absolutely how it played out. I mean, there was very, very little margin for error between 2 and 6.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Okay, team of the week. Okay, for me, there's only one team I can go with.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. I know Samford's playing well, but you got to go with Western Carolina.
I mean,
6 straight,
and they finished the season hot, obviously, yesterday with a 20-point win at home against Furman, which none of us saw coming.
No. Not that big, yes. No. So again, give Tim Kraft a lot of credit for certain. We've talked about him. He is a really good coach. Look what he did at Gardner-Webb, getting them to 20 wins. And so he's starting to implement somewhat of his system there at Western Carolina. And again, I just think that for Western Carolina, if they can continue to get some of the production from the front court, that opens up some of those other guys, Kell, Stansberry, to get going. And then Talon Petway. I mean, my goodness, freshman.
Julian Samaro-Who at that point? I mean, holy cow.
I mean, you're talking about stepping up. And some of the circus shots that he had against Furman, I mean, it was one of those days where you saw multiple players just making shots where, hey, they're just in the zone. Yeah. And no matter what defense you throw at them, it doesn't matter. Yep. They're still going to make shots. And that's why I love that feeling when you're in that zone and you just know it, right?
There's nothing better. I wish I had it more in my career.
Exactly.
But there's nothing like it. No, I mean, with Western, they were almost dead to rights. I mean, they were not playing well. They had those 2 big wins against ETSU, but other than that, I think they only had one other conference win. Outside, I think their other conference win, they were at one point were ETSU twice and Furman once.
Yeah, in the overtime there.
And it was an overtime win at Furman, and so you're looking at them, man. What can they find a way? And then they just.
And so it was almost to the point. I remember after they beat ETSU twice. And maybe even the first time, and this is going to sound so disparaging to Western Carolina, it's not meant to be that way, but it's just based on what you're talking about, how they came out at the beginning of the conference season, is that it was almost, oh, wow, they beat ETSU?
Yeah.
how did that happen? ETSU had just won 4 in a row to start the conference slate. And then when they beat them again the second time, it was like, oh, okay, they've got my attention now, but can they sustain it?
Yeah, then they go lose the next game. Yeah, I think they lost 2 or 3 in a row after that.
I think so. And then they get on this hot streak. And so they're like, okay, hey, we'll show you. And that's exactly, what they're doing right now. So again, no question about it. For me, team of the week is Western Carolina.
Totally agree. And that takes a lot too from the roller coaster that they had on to end the season on a 6-game win streak. That tells me there's something really positive going on in that locker room.
Yes.
With those guys liking each other.
Yes.
Wanting to play for one another and having some leadership.
Yeah, no question. Okay, player of the week. All right.
Well, yeah, I mean, this one's pretty easy too, I feel like.
I will go on a right. I will go on a hunger strike, whatever it is. If Jaden Booth, a.k.a. Jaden Buckets, does not get player of the week.
Maybe you can wear some knee-high socks and shorts on the next episode if he doesn't get it, even if we don't have 500 followers.
Because I want some Jaden Buckets gear right now. I mean, we need it.
We might need to trademark that.
Yes, I think we do, because we did get confirmation from him that we do know that we coined the phrase Jaden Buckets at his new nickname. But he has 11 3-pointers, a Samford record.
Yeah.
He was absolutely on fire. 40 points that you talked about. And he only scored 10 points in the previous game against VMI.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking, well, he didn't have a good first game, of this, 2-game stretch or whatever. But he still averaged 25 points because he scored 50 total with 40 there against UNCG and was just lights out there. And just one of those electric type of players. And for me, I'm disappointed that there weren't more Samford fans there at the Pete Hanna Center to watch this. And, I mean, you've got a really good Samford team right now. That place should be packed to the rafters.
And they're fun to watch.
Yes.
Like, they play a really enjoyable style of basketball that if you're a basketball fan, you can appreciate. And, I mean, they would come out like mad for Bucky.
Yes.
I suspect that they will get back out, but to your point, I've watched a couple games this year, and I'm sitting there like, this is a good basketball team.
That's right.
And or they're playing somebody that's really good. Where are these people? Because the couple times I was there, that place was loud and it was aggressive.
This team has a chance to win the Southern Conference Tournament Championship. There is no question, because they can get hot, and you can get Jaden Booth getting hot, Jaden Buckets, that is. You get him on one of those heaters, 2 or 3 games, watch out.
There are other teams, and we'll get into this when we talk about going into the conference tournament previews, but there is a very, very strong argument to say that they have the best backcourt in the league, and I think if you can get some balance from your front court and you've got a really good backcourt, to me, a backcourt's going to really kind of take you where you need to go to win a conference tournament championship like this, and they've got a really good backcourt.
Yes, they do.
Led by, and I got another nickname, the Samford Sniper.
Oh, Samford Sniper. Okay, yes, I can buy in that one too. He's the nation's #1 3-point shooter in the country. Elite level shooting. Yeah, that is certain. Okay, power rankings. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to mix things up right here. Okay, we've got VMI at 10, UNCG at 9, Citadel at 8. UNCG, they did drop. I mean, they just haven't been playing well defensively. And then now you have to factor in the injury.
You absolutely have
to. I mean, that's a big part of it heading into the tournament. Citadel at 8, Chattanooga at 7, Wofford at 6, Furman at 5. I've got ETSU at number 4.
Okay.
Mercer at number 3, Samford at number 2, and give me Western Carolina sitting there, number 1 in the power rankings. They're the hottest team in the Southern Conference right now. You could look at Samford also. They've been playing extremely well, but Western Carolina, I'm not going to beat it into the ground, but my goodness, I mean, this is a Western Carolina team that we know is playing well.
Yeah, and we've talked about it ad nauseum. They're dangerous. I lean towards putting Samford number 1 just because I think they're still playing really good ball.
Yeah, I get it.
And they've been the best team in the league over the last month. Obviously, Western's been great, but I think they've been the best team in the league over the last month, and I think will probably be my pick We got to do a little more research.
Ooh, you're already getting a little sneak preview?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah,
and you know how I felt about Samford.
Oh, yeah, and we're picking at straws, right?
Yes.
When you're talking about these sorts of things. I still think ETSU's got to be up there because at the end of the day, they've been really consistent throughout the year. And they were 6-4 in their last 10, so probably not what they wanted to be doing to close the season out, but I still think you got to keep them up there at the top. But to your point, I think UNCG is a team that's really taken the biggest tumble after we thought maybe
that's right.
We didn't think that they were going to be in contention to necessarily be a top 4 seed, but we felt like they were playing more consistently and they were competitive against everybody.
Well, and they were competitive against Samford even without Justin Neely. And so I did take that into consideration, but the biggest reason why I have them falling more is not so much that they lost, but it's also because of where they are right now and what the team is going to be without a Justin Neely, and how much KJ Younger, how much is he going to be able to play, because he got banged up in that Samford game also. Mm-hmm. So you have to take that into consideration. And even like with ETSU, I know I have them at 4. I could easily have them at 2 or 3, from this standpoint, because you're talking about the consistency. And I'm not just going off of, well, they lost to Mercer, so Mercer has to be above them. That's not necessarily the case, because it's more of that ETSU also lost to Wofford.
Yeah.
And so coming into this, then when you combine that with the Mercer loss, that's why I have Mercer just ahead of them right now.
For sure. And look, we've talked a fair amount about Mercer and what we think of them as well. But if they're going to be able to get contributions out of Quentin Perkins and Zaire Williams with significant double-digit scoring outings, and you obviously have a Kojay and Mighty that have done what they've done consistently throughout the year, and a Brady Shoulders is your kind of glue guy, that's a very, very different dynamic Mercer team than even we saw for a lot of the year, because they were really led a lot of games by their 2 horses getting significant double figures, and then everyone else was kind of sprinkled in with, call it, they had 4 or 5 guys with 6 to 8 points.
Yeah.
But if you're getting 3, 4 guys now consistently to double figures, and they're able to control the tempo like they want to and get stops when they need them, which they did a good job of for the most part this year.
Yeah.
That's a really good team.
Oh, yeah. Barako Kojay, he can get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
He's number 1 in the nation.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy. You look at the Southern Conference, they've got the number 1 3-point shooter in the country. They've got the number 1 total rebounder and defensive rebounder per game in Justin Neely. And Barako Kojay is the number 1 free throw, getting to the free throw line, number of attempts in the country.
Yeah.
That's 3 categories, and they're all coming from the Southern Conference. They lead the nation.
Hey, we talk about it all the time.
That's impressive.
I mean, Southern Conference is a good league.
Yes, it is.
And I think this is one of the most exciting conference tournaments in a number of years, from the perspective of I can't recall another time where there were legitimately 6 teams that could win this thing.
We don't know. How are we going to predict this?
Yeah,
man?
no, I mean, honestly, I was thinking about it today on the chance that we got into some of this conversation. Like, I know I teased something a little bit, but like, I don't feel super confident about any of those 6 teams right now, but I think any of those 6 teams can win it.
I know. That's the crazy thing about it, and that's why we love it, though. That's why we love March Madness. That's why we are here. We're excited about it, and don't forget, we're going to have much more content, the conference tournament preview, and also we're going to be doing our game day live version there at the Southern Conference Tournament Championship there at the Harris Cherokee Center in Asheville. We'll be going live there on the semifinals day on that Sunday, and then also live on Monday for the championship. So all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. Yes, then we'll wear socks. So yes, there you go. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button also, and the follow button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, including the iHeartRadio app. Until next time, may all your jumpers hit nothing but the bottom of the net.